Alright, let's get started. You have to remove this air snorkel, at least on a 3 series, and actually that's pretty much on all of them have a similar setup. So I'm just going to take these plastic rivets off and pop this piece right off. I want to also thank everybody that's put a like to any of my videos and all of my subscribers. I have the electric fan, so I do need to remove this. I'm going to pop this plug off right here. I have a T25 Torx on the left, and I have a plastic rivet over here. You can use some side cutters to actually slide that plastic rivet out. Remove that on the driver's side. I have this long screw here on the passenger side, and this is a manual transmission, so I have the electric fan. It's going to lift straight up and out. I do have videos on how to replace or remove the mechanical fan as well. If you have an automatic transmission, you're going to have this style fan, the mechanical fan with a fan clutch. This is a 32 millimeter right here. This is a reverse thread. I do have a video with some tips and tricks on how to remove this. That's going to be installed right to your water pump right here, and you're going to have a fan shroud, which is just going to be held on by those clips as well, those plastic rivets. You're going to remove this first, let it sit inside the shroud, and then take the whole thing out as one piece. Just do a quick little recap. I just spun this on. This is actually reverse thread, keep in mind, so lefty is tighty and righty is loosey. I'm spinning this on. This is the way the fan will look. You will have a shroud here if you have an automatic transmission. With the 32 millimeter, you're going to come down and catch that right there. It's going to be snug, so it's not going to want to come free. But if you hit this with a hammer straight down and slightly to the right, you can usually break that free. So with that right on that 32 millimeter nut, you would hit it right here, give that a good solid whack down. My son's sleeping, so I'm not going to give it a good hit now to either tighten or loosen it, but basically you're hitting it to the right this way, and it should pop free. Hopefully I didn't put that on too tight where I'm going to have to do that. Nope, there it is. So once it's loose, you can usually spin it free. You know, I did actually put that on too tight, so I'm going to have to give it a hit. There we go. Alright, simple as that. Sometimes it can take quite a few hits if it doesn't want to come free. They do sell a tool that will hold the bolts on the pulley, and I go to the right to take this off. If you go too fast, it will drop down, but if you have the shroud on, it will get caught inside the shroud. I don't have a shroud on this one, so it's going to fall right into my coolant bucket. There we go. So if you have the automatic transmission, that's how you're going to remove that fan right there. Now on this BMW E46 3 Series, this is the deflection pulley, also known as the idler pulley. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the belt. All I have to do is loosen it and let it hang down. I don't have to take it all the way off to do this repair. I have a mechanical tensioner on right now. I've actually swapped it over with a mechanical version. I'm going to be doing a video on installing the hydraulic version, which is this up here, which I've taken apart, and I'll show you how to put that together. BMW doesn't offer the mechanical one anymore, so you have to upgrade to the hydraulic. The first step I'm going to do is go ahead and take this cover off right here. You can see there's these slots right in here. Just have to get in there with the pick. I'm just going to let this fall, but that'll pop right off. Got a little catch basin down there. I took the upper radiator hose off. I just have it sitting, and that's just for clarity so you can see better. That hose does not have to come off to do this repair. This right here is a 16 millimeter bolt, so you can loosen that up. Before I do that though, I do have to loosen up this belt. With the mechanical tensioner, I actually have two ways to do this. I can use a 16 millimeter because I have a 16 millimeter access right here. which is part of the mechanical tensioner, or I can take the cover off, which I've done down here, and I can use a T50. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the 16 that they give us on this mechanical tensioner. And all I need to do is take the tension off and slide the belt off of the tensioner, and then just release this out of the way. That takes the belt out of the picture. Now it is trapped underneath here, but all you have to do is actually just slide that right out. Okay, just going to leave that just like that. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take this off. This is a pretty long bolt right here. This is going to have some tension on it. Okay. I had it off so it was already loose, so I went ahead and just tightened it real quick. Alright, coming off. See, this one actually does have some grinding to it. Still not loose enough by hand. There it comes. All right. Now, something to note on this. There is a locator tab right here, which is part of the alternator. So on this locator tab, if you look at this deflection pulley, there's a raised portion right here. When you're installing this, it has to match up to that raised portion, or it won't sit correctly for it to sit flush. You can see this is a long bolt. There's that raised portion right there. And a good test for this is give it a spin. I don't know if you can hear that. That's the bearing making some noise. I have a good one here. And that's really how you check him. Give him a spin. And this one's nice and quiet, as opposed to the other one has a grinding bearing noise to it. Usually this can make a pretty loud noise on a cold start. So I'm going to go ahead and install this new one. Okay, this slides on. Now I don't have to line it up until I'm close to bottoming out, so I can get that started. Remember, you have that locator tab. Put that on so it's flush. And taking this deflection pulley out would be a prerequisite to removing the tensioner. So you have to take this out to do the tensioner. The mechanical tensioner also makes a lot of noise. Actually, that's where I had gotten it from, because I've done a swap over at work, and that's actually a used part. Alright, snug that down. This is a larger bolt, so you can put a little bit of tension on that. Okay, give it a spin. I have the belt in basically like an installation position. I have it routed again like a backward C. You can see right there. This is the backward C portion right here. Goes around, up, under, and then this portion is going to go over the tensioner. I'm not going to use the Torx on this one. I'm going to use the 16 millimeter little nub that sits out as part of the tensioner right there to go ahead and install this. Actually, if I was going to try to catch that, it'd be pretty close to actually get something on there. You have to route a little bit different. That's what's nice about the mechanical one. It does have that little access right there. That's part of the tensioner. Alright, pull this up, tension it, go all the way. Just go ahead and put that over right here, so you can see that. And basically I just had it up like this. You can see just like I had slid it off. And boom. That's back on. Make sure your belt is seated correctly. And then go ahead, don't forget these caps. This does protect the internal bearings. Put the caps back on and reinstall the fan, and at this point you can go ahead and reinstall the other components.